everybody, and welcome to the Hex Token channel. And I think I've still got my music going. I came in a bit early there with my old transition, but hey, welcome. Emergency broadcast. It's going to be incredible. Hope you guys are having a good time out there, everybody. And welcome. We've got everything going. So a big welcome. Get into the chat there, say hello, and let me know if audio and video is okay for this transmission. We're going to have a lot of fun. And what the title of the video, Richard Hart's Pulsechain updates explored. I did post a quick update as soon as I could after the Richard's, I think it was about 20 minutes after Richard's update, and posted that video, so you can check that out for my first go. But we're going to actually go deep dive and have a good exploration of the update today's live stream. I thought that's kind of a good thing to do. So let's do that. And of course, I picked out some random piece of artwork made by the community with Richard on it, looking outside at the Pulsechain universe about to be unleashed. And of course, he's flying in there on a big plane from the looks of it. I think it's a plane. Oh, that's a train. It's a train or a plane. Looks like a big plane. And so it's going to be fun. Actually, it's probably a train. Maybe it's a big plane. Who knows? Looks like it's in the clouds, so it looks like a plane to me. All right, get into there, folks. We got Katie in the house there. Good to see Katie. And let me just mute my other computer. Who else is here? We've got Sandy Beach. Wow, I'll have to stay up for this one. Hey, Sandy Beach, welcome. And of course, we've got Bob Wells in the house there as well. Good to see you, Bob. Woohoo! And Brazology there. What's up, gang? Emergency Superman broadcast. Indeed, it is an emergency broadcast. We're going to have a lot of fun. A huge update today, of course. And how could I not miss coming on live stream with this? So we're going to have a lot of fun. Hex Force 1 has landed. Hello all, back for an update. Woohoo! Good to see Hex Force 1. And of course, hello from HH. Good to see you, Double H. Shane Kepness in house there. Woohoo! You know the chant, man. You know the chant. That's our channel chant. Very exciting. And of course, Sandy Beach is hello, Hex Token, and everyone. Good to see you, Sandy Beach. We've got D Hex in the house as well. Let's go, Hexkins. Absolutely, let's go. And that's an air horn there as well. So good to see D Hex in the house there. And of course, Lyle says the hair on the back of my neck is starting to stand up. I know you guys should be getting excited. A really good update today from Richard. Is very exciting. Late for me, but hey, good to be here, says Posto Dude. Winner, chicken dinner, indeed. That is true. And Brazology, all the way from 90210. You heard it, folks. 90210 is a Brazology. Yes, indeed. Good to have him in the house there. Welcome. And Muzza's in the house as well. Take your mark, says Muzza. Absolutely take your mark. It's going to be fun. I'm so excited. Are you excited? I'm damn excited, man. This is the sort of updates we love, and the timing in the chart couldn't have been better. Richard's been timing these like a boss. Like a boss. That's right. You heard it. And it's awesome. Precisely is 9021. Oh, indeed. Hey, H in the house with the super sticker. Appreciate that. $4.99 from HH. Character appearing from behind a cloud saying, hiya. I like that. I'm looking out in that cloud there on the thumbnail. That looks pretty awesome. So I appreciate that, Double H. Thank you very much. What else we got? Let's have a look here. We got King Meadow in the house there. Or King Meadow. Yeah, King Meadow, sorry. This is a surprise. Let's go. Absolutely. It's a surprise. And we're doing our second live stream of the day. But who could not miss out this awesome news? Take your mark, says Mother. Absolutely take your mark. Ghostbusters in the house there. When there's something strange in the neighborhood, who are you going to call? We're going to call the Ghostbusters, of course. And good to see you in the chat there. Hexhound as well. Let her rip. Man, oh man. I'm going to have to calm down. I'm so damn excited about this update today. It is very cool. Crypto Millionaires in the house there. Good evening, Hexkins. Good to see you, Crypto Millionaires. And Brandon says, second stream made it. You did indeed. And of course, we're going to have a lot of fun. All right. Should we get into it, folks? Here we are on the presentation. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, hit the bell, and we have the most epic free Discord with all the information on Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX. All the links. We've got all the links for all the Pulsechain ecosystem projects as well. We've got the best community in there, so get into that link on the Discord as well. Join our Discord. It's going to be pretty awesome. Brazil says 2 streams a day until Pulsechain launches. Sometimes it feels like that, Briz. It's probably going to get to that point again. Just away we go. And Ghostbusters says, here we go, breaking 6, says Ghostbusters. Nice. All right, let's get into it. So Richard Hart's Pulsechain updates explored. Let's go. And of course, this is going to be like an overview exploration. We're going to get into it. We're going to get deep dive into blockchain, but we're going to be covering the basics. And so that hopefully people get a better appreciation of what's happening here with these updates. So I hope you guys enjoy it. put in any comments that you have during the live stream in the chat there, and we'll go through those too. So let's get into it, folks. And of course, here we are. This is Ethereum at the moment. So obviously, Richard Hart is Pulsechain is forking Ethereum, and it's the proof of stake form of Ethereum, so it's a big deal. And of course, at the moment, Ethereum's got the following in the house. It's got consensus clients and execution clients, and you need them both of these software clients for the proof of stake, Ethereum proof of stake, EVM there. So Pulsechain's going to need them too, and of course, we're going to get into that. So let's go step back first and have a look at what the setup is. So we've got the Ethereum client setup, and so we've got the execution client. So you can see that on the right-hand side, and of course, we can see what those are. We've got Geth, we've got Nevermind, we've got Aragon, and we've got Bisu and others. So there's all these different other execution client softwares that we need. And the two that Richard Hart has picked out is Geth and Aragon. And we can see that Geth is currently 63.52% of the software is used for Ethereum. And of course, Aragon there is 10.23%. So that's at 73.25. So that's 73.25% there. And of course, that's a big amount. So 3/4 of it is Geth and Aragon. And of course, we know we've got Geth up and running already. Now on the consensus clients, so let's get into it. The execution clients listen. So the Geth and Aragon, they listen and execute transactions and maintain the latest state and database of all Ethereum data. So let's go through that again. They listen and execute transactions and maintain the latest state and database of all Ethereum data. And then, of course, while we've got the consensus client provides consensus using the proof of stake algorithm from validated data from the execution clients. So these two are talking to each other here. These two clients work together to sync the Ethereum state. And of course, we're talking about the blockchain and all the blocks and transactions and things like that. So that's kind of cool. So on the consensus side, we have Prism, Lighthouse, TQ, Nimbus, Lodestar, and other ones as well. But the two main ones here, Prism and Lighthouse, and of course, these are two that you've heard Richard talk about. So we've heard Richard talk about Prism and Lighthouse, and you can see on the consensus clients there, they're currently, when I took the snapshot, they were currently, jumping ahead there, we're currently at about 75% as well. So about 3/4 were these two as well. So now you can see why Richard's picked these ones, and the dev team has picked these ones because they are the dominant ones on Ethereum. So that's the consensus clients and the execution clients. And of course, we're going to deep dive into what Richard's doing there as well. So the execution clients listen and execute transactions and maintains the latest state and database of all Ethereum data, while the consensus clients provide consensus from validated data from the execution clients. These two clients work together to sync the Ethereum state of the blockchain. So that's cool. Hopefully that's a good overview for some of you that may be getting confused between the consensus execution. And of course, for the consensus, Richard's chosen the Prism and the Lighthouse. For the execution clients, the Geth and the Aragon. And of course, we're going to move on from there. So let's go. What you're seeing a picture here is of the EVM here. And of course, this here deals with smart contracts and all the breakdowns of the blockchain. And you can see it's got typical things you might see, block header. And of course, we call this metadata as well. Block header here for all the key data there, block number, logs, and gas limits, all that sort of stuff. Announcers, you may know when you're in MetaMask, announcers and stuff like that. They've also got terminology like the text transaction root hash, receipts root, the state root tree, and all these sort of things. EMV global variables here. So these are all sort of the more technical terms that you might get. Account state here, we've got the announcers and we've got the balances, the storage root hash here, code hash, etc. We've got the blockchain and block number all around this, so it's kind of cool. Interacts with the EVM world state, the EVM global, and so on. And you can see all the storage down here, storage, memory, and all the other cool terms there. So this is just a quick overview of the heart of Ethereum there. So Richard, as I said earlier, had to choose some execution clients and some consensus clients to work together to do the Pulsechain when they're going to be forking the Ethereum proof of stake. And of course, we see that they've gone with Go, Prism, so that's Geth there, Go one, Prism, Lighthouse, and Aragon there. So you can see the ones that they've gone with for that. Now, this Aragon one here, of course, we saw this update on the 4th of February, and the Aragon Pulse sync is 20 hours into stage 8 to 16, so the 16 stages. And Aragon really is just a a fork of the Go one there, so that's kind of why they've got that going there in terms of Geth. So Aragon's a fork of Geth. It's just a lot lighter on the data, like 1/3 of the data amount. It's easier to sync. It's kind of like a sequential syncing system, and it's got 16 steps, and that's where we found an issue with one of the blocks, if you recall. So that's kind of cool, and we could see this this syncing going on here with this interface that you can see on here. So it's kind of cool from that point of view. So that is where we're going now. Just see, we've got a few more comments in here. Ghostbusters, all the haters are crapping themselves. Yeah, around Pulsechain for sure. So it's kind of cool. Lau's in the house there. Good to see you, Lau. On fire, love it. And we've got Crypto BD as well. Hello to you. Good to see everybody in the chat there. So this is kind of where we're heading here. So we've got the 2 execution clients, two consensus ones, and you can see based on here that we've chosen Prism and Lighthouse for consensus, Geth and Aragon for execution clients. And Aragon is the one that we've had a little bit of an issue with, but they've still got some fixes for that. So we're going to catch up to that. They're looking to fix the Aragon there as well. So arguably, we could still go to testnet v3. We could still launch even without the others. We could just launch with Prism and Geth and Lighthouse, right? So we've got 2 consensus clients and we've got the Geth, right? But they want to get the Aragon up and running as well because they want the particular most popular block explorer for that as well. So we're going to look at that later on. So technically, if this is all up and running, which it appears to be, then we could just go with that. But of course, they're going to be looking to have two lots of them. And that, what does that give us? It gives us what they call diversity, and it gives us some backup there with the different software as well. So even with those softwares have different versions and they get updated as well. So that's kind of play where we are there. And then of course, Pulsechain, Richard gave us an update today. That was Pulsechain updates, and this is where it all kicked off and everyone got excited. This is the first update he gave us today. Testing is going very well, and that's really what the market likes to hear. The testing's going well, they're proceeding well, they're not having too many major issues. It's kind of implied from them. And of course now the testing go very well for the Prism, Go and Lighthouse. So there we are, that's our 2 consensus clients and our execution clients. So Prism and Lighthouse, the consensus. The Geth Go there is the execution. And of course they're all operating on the private v3 testnet run by the devs themselves. And of course we don't see that, but that's what they've been running on there. Then of course underneath that update he gave us a breakdown of the features, and of course it's going to include the sacrifice set there. So that was really popular. Obviously everyone who sacrificed a Pulsechain, Pulsex got the sacrifice credits, and of course we've seen the last update on that. The next one, of course, that you're going to need 32 million Pulse to be a validator, and of course on Ethereum you need 32 Ethereum to be a validator if you're going to do it particularly by yourself. And of course there's 3 main ways of staking as a validator. We're going to have a quick look at that. So let's jump over to validating here. So this was the front end that Richard provided us back on the 12th of January around validating. So become a validator, and of course this means that you could set up a specialized computer, maybe set up a node, download the software for the consensus software, and become a validator that way. So if you want to be a validator, you need 32 million Pulse, or on Ethereum you need 32 Ethereum. But if you want to just be a node and help support the chain, you can just run up a node computer and just do that, and without being a validator. So there's optionality there. But they've got to become a validator there. That would be pretty much probably for the solo staking. And of course, there will probably be 2 other options which we see on Ethereum, which is pooled staking, where third parties provide opportunities for people to stake their Ethereum, for example, in this case Pulse. We should see quite a bit of innovation from the community around that space. Maybe even from people like Alex McFurter, who's setting up that Pulsechain data center. He's talked about the potentially having validators hosted on that data center, not just his own use. So obviously it's not an official Pulsechain project, but it's his own data center he's building out there. And I posted a video that the other day, which was pretty awesome. And the investment he's putting in there is pretty decent for the looks of it. It's got power generators and everything else, putting in ceilings and safety stuff and all that data center. It's going to be pretty neat. So that's a validator. And then of course third, and this is where the big upside could be, third is exchanges. So obviously we've seen the SEC go after Kraken with its staking issue, and of course that was around about disclosing it as security. And so we've got this big legal battle fight going in terms of the staking, but we've also seen the SEC go after the stable coins as well, particularly the centralized ones. So they seem to be the big issue there, around around disclosures and stuff like that. So Kraken in particular, Kraken has somewhere between 350,000 and 1.1 million Ethereum. So 350,000 and 1.1 million Ethereum in its staking. And so that's a big part of the staking ladder there. So that's kind of neat. So that is the validator. So we could see some big, still with the remaining exchanges, particularly the ones that are outside the US. We could see the staking as a service still be a big deal there. So people can actually go and stake on the exchanges. Now, the issue there, of course, is that you don't own your keys to your coins, right? You don't own your keys to your coins. So you got to take that into account. And of course, in our ecosystem, we really don't like that. In fact, we're pretty adamant against it. And so we'll probably have better solutions than that. But yeah, you will see it nevertheless. Markets operate. You will see people do that. This is the way it's going to go. So it's going to be fun. That's actually going to help Pulsechain adoption as well. And of course, we know that potentially some exchanges are probably sacrificing Pulsechain as well. They always like to get some bags, especially when they think it's going to be big. They might publicly say, "Nah, we don't like Richard. We don't like this project." But then privately, they're all they sacrificed and things like that. So this is how it goes, right? We see that with the big YouTubers in the space, big influencers. All suddenly now coming out, starting to wake up from their sleep, and of course, I've sacrificed a Pulsechain, can't wait for Pulsechain, and that all just starts to ramp up. So we're going to see that too, not just exchange, but big influencers. So it's kind of cool. And then of course, we also had the other part of the update, so 32 million Pulse validator deposit, and then of course we had 10-second block times as well. Obviously, Ethereum running at 12-second block times. We're going to be running at 10-second top block times, slot times there, and of course have different blocks in there as well. Now, slot doesn't have to have a block in it, but that's typically what will happen there as well. So 10-second slots there, and of course Richard posted this update on February the 2nd that had the block explorer here, the traditional one we used to, bit of revamp, but it showed you the 10-second block times running privately in the private testnet. You see testnet v3 there, and 10-second block times on the private v3 proof of stake, which is kind of cool. So you'll note on this one only has 6 wallet addresses on there, so it's not the system state in there based on that information. It's not viewing that, but it does have the blocks in there. So we've got 32 million Pulse validated deposit feature, 10-second slot times, and of course that's pretty exciting to see. And let's go to the third one here. Yep, the third one is right there. So then the third one here was the consensus layer reward burning. And this is what really got the market going big time, right? So we knew about 32 million Pulse. We knew about 10-second slot times. We've covered it on this channel. But the consensus layer reward burning, obviously, if you're forking the proof of stake of Ethereum, you're going to have a similar burning mechanism with EIP 1559. And of course, that was the fee burning upgrade. And of course, that's been running pretty well. And of course, massive burning for Ethereum. We're going to look at that in a second, so stay tuned for that. So anyway, this compensates for faster slot times. Obviously, we've got 10-second slot times, so that increases the burning rate because we've got more potential blocks going through, more transactions. And of course, particularly may increase the APY for validators as well, staking, because you've got that many more blocks going through as well. So we're going to look like it's going to be pretty epic. So every epoch we have is about, I think I can't remember exact number, but over 6 minutes. I think 6.5 minutes. So that's going to be pretty cool. Actually, I think it's 5.5 minutes, something like that. So it's a lot quicker than the Ethereum blockchain. Compensates for faster slot times, and this is the big kicker here. We see the return of 25% burn on top. So that's really excited the market. The interpretation of this, in addition to the fee burning, that's pretty epic. So we're going to look to see how that manifests as well. But that's putting Ethereum back on the game there, and particularly against PulseX with its big buy and burn. So that's pretty. If we're interpreting that correctly, that's on top. So looking good, looking good. So Ethereum Plus beating out Ethereum again, and this is what Richard likes to do, have that competitive edge. We see that with PulseX with the fee burning, 0.29% fee for transactions. That's competitive against other ones, and of course having the buy and burn on top of that makes the PulseX itself really super good. And of course the incentive token is got a deflationary profile as well. We don't know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be some sort of curve or a step down change every year, but it's going to be interesting to see that. So that was really big news today regarding that. So let's have a quick look at the update for that. And of course this is on Ethereum, and of course you can see on Ethereum you might end up having a transaction fee. In this case it's 0.059 in this example, about $10. And then you sort of see the gas fees here, the base are down there as well. But here's what we're looking at here: burn and transaction savings fees. So you see that out of that 0.0059, 0.0058 was burned. So a big amount of it, something like 90%, big burn there. So pretty cool. And we're going to see similar mechanisms on Pulsechain. Obviously, the price of Pulsechain will be starting off pretty low compared to, let's say, Ethereum. But it's going to be fun to see this increase pretty fast. We could see some pretty impressive congestion, utilization congestion. So utilization is really the percentage of your your pipe, and if we measure pipe and transactions per second, maybe a certain size, and if you're utilizing that, you might get 70%, 80%, and then of course once you start getting up to the top of that TPS, then you end up getting congestion. So it's kind of the terminology there. So pretty cool. Now that is the transaction level on Ethereum, and you can see the fee burning. And of course on a block level, and you can see the block burning here as well. So we've got the fees burned here, half Ethereum there burned. Look at that, woohoo, in this particular block. So that's kind of cool. Big deal, right? Big deal. And you can see this is the 9th of February here. Reward there, of course, 0.09 as well. So remember, Ethereum has base fees and tips in the fee structure. And of course, the vast majority gets burned, circa 90%. So it's a pretty big deal. Now, particularly when Ethereum, when the gas is typically over like 16 Gwei or more, we typically see a lot of burning going on. And that's what we've been seeing on Ethereum right now. Really high gas fees, high utilization, a lot of congestion. And of course, you guys know it, because if you've been in a position where you need to stake or unstake lately on Ethereum, you would have noticed that the fees are really high. People have contacted me, and I just say to them, make sure you get a time that's really low Gwei, and maybe in the weekend, something like that. You still got to hunt those low Gwei times, so that you're not paying, $150. You're paying more like $40 or $30 or whatever it's going to be. But anyway, since Ethereum's merge, we can see that the burning on Ethereum has been really amazing. So obviously they had inflation in here, and then we had a tiny little bit of deflation at the beginning. There's a little dip there. Now this line is 0, of course, and then that's inflation there. Inflation, then we had some deflation, then we had some inflation, and look at this now on Ethereum. Wow, down it goes. Woohoo! And now it's since the time at 15th September, since the actual move to proof of stake from proof of work, it's actually down 28,372 ETH, which is getting pretty decent, and that's looking pretty awesome. We can see a rate here of 0.055% on a yearly basis there. So pretty cool. The current supply of Ethereum, 120,492,000 Ethereum. Remember that number, 120,492,000, because that's going to be significant. So that is some of the updates there. Now, let's go back up to that update that we've sort of broken down there with exploration. I said we're going to explore it. So that is, in summary, what we're talking about. 32 million pools to be a validator, but I think there will be quite a bit of innovation there around staking pools, centralized exchange, staking as a service, that sort of thing. Even with the regulatory, because we can always have that stuff off outside the US. 10-second block times, slot times, and of course that's going to be 2 seconds faster than Ethereum. So already compared there, and a consensus layer reward burning compensates for faster slots, and of course 25% on top of that, which is the big exciting thing that's got the market really excited on that one. Now obviously we've got the validators there, we've got the block explorers with the 10-second times, and we've got some examples of Ethereum fees, and so we see similar on Pulsechain, obviously with different prices of Pulse and stuff like that, Gwei settings and things, so it's going to be interesting. Now the next update we got was from Richard, was around the details, so getting a bit deeper dive now with the details. Before we do that though, let's catch up on the chat so we're not too far ahead. Let's get into some of these comments here. We've got Ghostbusters says, we are going to Mexico, Hexkin, says Ghostbusters. We're going to Hexago, that's for sure. Really getting hard not to be excited, says Hexound. Me too. That is the 25% burn. How's that to what ETH burns now? Well, we don't know exactly how that's going to transact. It may just be added on to the as a separate mechanism. We'll have to see. Hexound, that's a little unclear. It's like I said, we have to wait and see how that's going to be incorporated. Whether it's separate or in addition to is what we're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be when you charge. It's going to be charged to the users, no doubt. So that's going to be part of the user's charge. Alex is building a data war chest. Yeah, that's mostly for himself, but he said that he could be holding validators onto that, validators on his data center. Bullish boys and girls, very bullish. Is crypto BD, definitely. Hexound as well with the fire, like it. Pineapples and House says March bullish energy coming BTC 34K. Hex is bottomed according to my chart data here. Bullish on daily TF for a few days to come. So expect prices Hex to go up, says Pineapple. Nice little update there from you. And great, welcome to the chat, by the way. We got Bob Wells says always crypto on the weekends. That's right with the Gwei, definitely. What do you call it? Gweikins says Bob Wells. Great time to accumulate, says Pineapple. Definitely, it's looking very good. We're going to cover the Hex price in a second. You'll see Hex RH FUD on Reddit lately. No, I haven't, Justin. I don't actually spend any time on Reddit. Are people still using it? I know Reddit's a very left-wing place, so I don't really spend much time on there. living in fantasy land. So, but there are some good Reddit threads in there. I'm not saying there's not. But anyway, let's move on. So we got as the client setup here. This was another update, a part of those 5 big updates. As for the client setup, validator nodes, Prism Validator, Prism Beacon, and GoPulse. 256 validated keys distributed across 4 validator nodes. Remember, when you have a blockchain, you got blocks and transactions, and you have computer nodes around the world confirming those block transactions using consensus clients. And of course, this is what it's referencing there. And of course, they have validated keys as well. Remember, every validator has like a public key, private key, all play in there. So, got 256 validators. They're using 128 to do each epoch. And of course, you'd normally pull up a validator to confirm the block. And then you have all the rest of the validators, 127 of them, doing the attestation of the block to confirm that block is valid. And so that's kind of the play there. That's the way I understand this terminology. API node. So let's go to validator nodes. A validator node is a node. A validator node is a node in a proof of stake system responsible for storing data, processing transactions, and adding new blocks to the blockchain. To active validator software, you need to be able to stake 32 ETH, or in case of Pulsechain, it will be 32 million Pulse. So that is the validator nodes there. Now we also got some definitions for the API. We've got API nodes, Prism, Beacon, and GoPulse. And so remember the goalpost there, the execution, Prism, there, the consensus. So API nodes there. So that we could go with these two, right? We could probably launch with those based on what we've heard so far. Not sure we will until the Aragon's done though. We'll have those four clients. The Ethereum API allows developers to communicate. So the Ethereum API allows developers to communicate with the Ethereum blockchain to build applications. So that's the interpretation there. And of course the boot nodes there, Prism, Beacon, and GoPulse there. Remember, these ones we would probably just go with those. And that is, we've got when a new node joins the Ethereum network, it needs to connect to nodes. Okay, so when a new node, a new computer, someone doing setting up a node there to help with the network, it needs to connect to the nodes that are already on the network in order to then discover new peers. All right, so it's got to pair up with all the other nodes around the world. So that really you want those because you want a lot of them because you want decentralized, consensus network, right? So you don't want to have it all dominated and vulnerable. These entry points into the Ethereum network are called boot nodes. All right, so and that is the update there. Clients usually have a list of boot nodes hard-coded into them. So that is the update there. So all right, so hopefully that helps a little bit there. So just a summary: a validator node is a node in a proof-of-stake system responsible for storing data, processing transaction, adding new blocks to the blockchain. To activate a validator software, you need to be able to stake 32 ETH, or in case of Pulsechain, 32 million Pulse, or be in some other third-party staking as a service pool. The Ethereum API allows developers to communicate with the Ethereum blockchain to build applications. And of course, when a new node joins the Ethereum network, it needs to connect to nodes that are already on the network in order to discover new peers. These entry points into the Ethereum network are called boot nodes. And clients usually have a list of boot nodes hard to code into them. So that was sort of exploring that update. And then, of course, we got this other update here, archive node. And of course, we've got some definitions for that as well. So archive node is an instance of the Ethereum client configured to build an archive of all historical states. It's a useful tool for certain use cases, but might be more tricky to run than a full node. All right, so an archive node there. So we've got archive node, Prism, and Go. X1, including the full 13 terabytes of Ethereum mainnet history. So we've got all that blockchain history there. And the archive node is an instance of Ethereum client configured to build an archive of all historical states. It's a useful tool for certain use cases, but might be a bit more tricky to run than a full node. And then, of course, we've got the next one here, Lighthouse node. And, of course, Lighthouse plus Go there. And, of course, Lighthouse being the other consensus client. And so we've got Prism and Lighthouse. And, of course, Lighthouse implements the standard beacon. Oh, I've lost that there. Let me jump up there, lost those. Lighthouse implements the standard beacon node API specification there for that. So it's sort of a bit of an exploration there, interpretation of these terms. Now the network is now 8,400 slots into our new beacon chain. Block is at 16,501,037 without a hiccup, and so that was bullish news too. So not only with the 25% fee, we got the 0.25 fee, but also the hiccup of this as well. So really good news there. Let's jump into some of these. We've got some more comments. Justin, I missed that one there. Property View in the house there. Good show today. Hey, thanks, Property View. Appreciate it. A big welcome to everybody in the chat now. I think we've got about 66 people watching at the moment, so a big welcome to you all. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button on the way in. Definitely get into the chat as well. We love a vibrant chat, so get in there. Bob Wells says hit the like, hit the likes. Definitely do that. And Get Hex is in the house as well. Howdy all, good to see you, Get Hex. Welcome to the chat too. Brendan says on this morning's stream, Superman, you said that golden cross for BTC hasn't crossed yet, but I've seen it has not sure what EMA you used for that 250 has crossed, says Brendan. Yeah, I don't know. We might have to compare charts there in the old Discord under price chat there, Brendan. Something for later on. Definitely. You might have been looking at the 200 cross 100 EMA. No, it wasn't looking at that. We'll have a chat on the price chat there. D-Wave says, when Lambo, 10 cent Hex incoming. It's hot. Hey, look, once we broke the 5.6, I think Brendan will agree. We were in the 6 to 10 cent range. We're going to talk about price after the presentation here, after the expiration of the updates. Stay tuned for that. Into Fire says, should I order my Lambo now or wait 2 more weeks? I'll wait 2 more weeks there. Into Fire, wait 2 more weeks. Golden cross is when the short-term EMA crosses the long-term EMA or 50 cross there. You're talking about the 50 cross. I'm using the 100 cross there. So just remember that. Matt and Barley says, quick pit stop for me. Howdy all. I've been watching Raiders get done by the Tigers in the NRL. How embarrassing. Sounds pretty bad, Matt, to be honest. It sounds pretty bad. Mohammed in the house as well. Super light from Kiev. I'm glad I made it at 7:30 a.m. Hey, nice, Mohammed. Appreciate that. Big shout out. And of course, Interfire says, I've been waiting since day 60. Right. Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's get onto it. So this was our other updates that we had. So that was pretty cool. Hopefully this sort of overview explanation is helping. Then we got these updates as well. So this comes to the Aragon issue. Remember the other execution client here. And of course, Aragon has a problem they introduced recently. So devs are rolling back a version, of the software before they introduced that bug. So they're rolling it back before they introduced that bug. So there we are. So devs are rolling back to a version before. So before they introduced that bug when we had that block height there. I think it was 16,600,000 something. That was the block there. I think we've got a picture of it anyway, so stay tuned for that. Then he came up with the fact that withdrawing after staking on Pulsechain required the upstream changes from Ethereum mainnet. And of course, we all know this is the Shanghai fork expected in mid-March, around that time. So that is it. So March is actually the time frame, but mid-March. So Shanghai fork to work for them, which can then be merged into Pulsechain when Pulsechain has seen it working for them well as well. So basically, the Shanghai fork is going to allow ETH withdrawals. And remember, ETH started staking back in December 2020. And there's something like over 16 million ETH is locked up. Remember, there's 120 million total. About 16 million is locked up in staking, which is around about 14%, right? So that's actually quite low on a percentage basis on staking. Typically staking's up maybe 60% or so on a lot of projects. So that's actually quite different, depending on how the project's set up, of course. But that is the play there. So they can't withdraw the ETH. So they've staked. People have staked as validators independently. People have staked in staking pools, particularly if they didn't have enough, didn't have 32 ETH. People have staked on centralized exchanges, and of course we've seen a lot of that. Some of that's been, aggressively taken on by the SEC, like Kraken. And of course, as I said to you, out of the 16 or so million that is staked on Ethereum, in terms of ETH, 16 million out of 120 million, around about 350,000 to, I think it's up as high as 1.1 million is staked on Kraken. And of course, they have, remember, stopped their service with that as well, and trying to make a settlement with the SEC to get around that. So that's a pretty big deal. Now, obviously, if people go to become a validator and stake their 32 million Pulse on the Pulsechain, then obviously at the moment, if we fork Ethereum, we're not going to have the actual Shanghai upgrade to take your Pulse out if you wanted to. So that's going to be something that can be done later on. I actually kind of think it's a good adoption thing because you get people to stake, right, just on Ethereum, and then of course you can't take it out once you put it on there. But then later on, of course, you can do the Shanghai fork if that upgrades nicely. Then we can do it too on Pulsechain. So that does introduce a little bit of operational risk for all the upgrades, but presumably if they work very well on Ethereum, they're all going to work very well on Pulsechain, and the team would have their head around that, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue there. But yeah, that's kind of the play there. Now, obviously, the Shanghai fork, we're going to jump over to a few updates here around that and see what is happening with that Shanghai fork. And of course, we can see Ethereum sets a date for Shanghai upgrade on a Cpolar testnet. So obviously they've been running the test nets first before they do the main chain. Obviously you want to do that, right? So we saw that for the proof of stake crossover, and of course they're doing that also for the Shanghai upgrade, which is expected in March. So that is kind of cool. Let's have a look here. They also had over 488 million ETH transferred to Coinbase there as well, and some of the title there. So the Sepola testnet is closed to developers. So only developers can do that who run validators on the network. Okay. The main Ethereum blockchain is expected to undergo the Shanghai hard fork in March. So that is where it's still expected to be. So let's close out there. So I'm going to read a bit of this update because it's kind of one of the latest updates here on the Ethereum update with ETH withdrawals. And this is important because obviously we have the optionality later of introducing this ourselves for Pulsechain withdrawals. And if you're going to stake your Pulse, you want to know can get it out, right? And the reward for doing that too. So the Ethereum Foundation has announced February the 28th as the launch date for moving the Sepola test network through the Shanghai upgrade. All right, so that is, they're going to do testnet first. That's the 28th of February that's going to happen. The Ethereum team said that Sepola would be the second network to undergo such an upgrade, and that is the second test network that they're going to be updating. So the first one they did was the Xinjiang testnet. Was that pretty good Chinese? I don't know. Xinjiang testnet, and of course, which allows the simulation of staked ETH withdrawals. All right, so it allows the simulation of staked ETH withdrawals. One more testnet network will be upgraded before the main Ethereum blockchain is expected to undergo the Shanghai hard fork there. So one more test network will be upgraded. So we've got that next one. It is the Sepola one there that will be done after this one. So this one's already been done. Sepola is next on the 28th of February. So one more testnet will be upgraded before the main Ethereum blockchain is expected to undergo the Shanghai hard fork. And of course, the Shanghai will be the first hard fork since Ethereum became proof of stake, and of course, which will take place in March. So there we are, 28th of February for the Sepola test network with ETH withdrawals, and then the Shanghai hard fork will take place in March. So that is the latest and greatest. According to the report, the Sepola test network is closed to developers who run validators on the network. After the Sepola testnet, Goerli will be the final testnet to get the Shanghai upgrade there. So they will do Goerli as well, the largest public ETH test network. So that's three chains that are testnets before the main chain will be done. So you can see how you think Pulsechain's taking doing it carefully with the devs. And you can also see Ethereum taking a lot of care as well. There are billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars at stake here as well, and the future value too. CoinDesk quoted Barnabas Bussa, one of the DevOps engineers at the Ethereum Foundation, saying that the difference between the three tests, the difference between the three tests comes down to the number of visitors participating and network load. And you heard me talking about before about the size of the pipe and, of course, the utilization and congestion. So congestion is really about using the capacity of the network. So that is, they're going to put more load onto it and have more participants on there. So that's pretty much it. And of course, earlier in the blog post, the foundation announced that the Sepola fork of the Xinjiang testnet is live and available for stakers and users to test. So they've been doing that. That's probably still operating. So because they're not doing the next one till September. So done one test network, got two more to go, and then looking to do Shanghai in March. So it actually does look to be on track so far. Obviously, subject to any updates from the foundation there. So not everything's going to be late in development. They have had time to do it. So they did get rid of a lot of stuff. Remember other little EIPs, they got rid of some of that so they could focus on the ETH withdrawals since there's such big demand, as you could imagine, with 16 million Ethereum being staked there. So that's kind of cool. Now, Terrence ETH here provided us the source document. So that was a commentary. This is so that's the secondary sources, the primary source here. We got here on the Ethereum clients here, a proposed base conversion, and of course it's got the epoch slot times there for the ETA of the 28th of February there for that second testnet there on the Sepola Kappa on the Sepola testnet there. There's a bit of a hard word for me to say, but that is where the source document is there too. So pretty cool. And then of course Sepola is on the horizon. After much testing and development of the Shanghai and Capella, mainnet upgrade is moving into the final pre-launch sequence public test nets. The Xiang net test network is live and available for stakers and users to test Capella today. and the first of the long-standing public testnet Sapilla scheduled to go through the upgrade on 28th of February there. This is from the Ethereum org blog. So you see this is source documents. I always like source documents. Sapilla contains many features, but most importantly to stakers and the consensus layer is the enabling of withdrawal. So a big deal. Obviously, you improve the stake system, you want to be able to withdraw eventually, and this is why it's such a big focus. Full withdrawals will be available for exited validators here, whereas partial withdrawals will be available for active validators balances in excess of 32 ETH. For validators to participate in withdrawals, they must have 0x01 execution layer withdrawal credential. If a validator currently has a 0x00 BLS withdrawal credential, they must sign a change operation to enable the withdrawals. And of course, you can look at that. So that is pretty much it at the moment. So that is where they're heading. If you are a Ethereum staker, node operator, infrastructure provider, or otherwise, now is the time to get up to speed on the coming Sapilla upgrade on the 28th of February. Test your software and pay attention. From here, each public testnet will be upgraded. And if all goes according to plan, mainnet will soon follow with the old upgrade there. So they're going to upgrade their main chain there of Ethereum in March. So that's all the latest and greatest. Hopefully that has been of some interest there. So that is pretty much what's happening there with the ETH merge. And of course, Richard has pretty much says that they'll see how it goes. And if it goes all good, then they can introduce that on the Pulsechain. Obviously, they're going to need a solution for the Pulsechain. So if you're putting a validated Pulse, just obviously depends on the timing, but that's what you can upgrade later. Now, then the final update here. Thus, the Pulse devs are working on both the rollback version of Aragon, so back before that block had the issue, and a potential fix to their newest version. All right, so they're going to look to apply those fixes there. Both clients are currently syncing to the test to test the fixes as well. So hopefully they'll be able to move past that block issue, and the data will be the same as they expect. So that's going to be very important there. So that is the update there. And we could see the bug. This is the bug that they had. And of course, the bug slaying was the term. This is the only time we got an update, and actually the price got smashed on Hex, remember, with the bug slaying. And of course, sometimes transparency, the speculators, sell down the news, right? They sell down the news. Now, Geth and Aragon are building. Sorry, I lost the comment there. Geth and Aragon are building the same header, but Aragon is generating a different tree root there. That was the issue. So that's what they're trying to fix. All right, so Geth and Aragon. So Geth, remember, was the original one. This is the original execution client. Aragon is a fork of the Geth there. It's less data intensive, maybe down to about a third. And of course, it is sequential, has those 16 stages in it. Building the same header. So header is like a metadata, but Aragon is generating a different tree root as well for the consensus. So pretty important there. This is breaking the Aragon sync. And of course, it's snapshotted all the way up to the breaking block. So once fixed, all the days of previous sync process is maintained. So what they've done is gone back and then try to apply a fix. So yeah, this is what happens when they're testing and trying to make these things work here for the Aragon. But remember, they've already got Geth and Prism and Lighthouse up and running. So they could even run a testnet on that. They just don't have the amount of diversification that some people may say they need. And also they also want to use the particular block explorer. So that's pretty cool. Now we're jumping it back to Ethereum here. So this is Ethereum's block explorer. This is the one that they're doing Aragon for, so they can have a block explorer like this, which is the popular one. Of course, you got your ETH on the side there. You got the active validators on the right here. You can see Ethereum currently has 520 million validators. Isn't that incredible? Now, obviously, all over the place, and that's how many they've got. We've obviously gone through epochs and slot times and so forth. We've got the staked ETH there, 16,660,000 ETH is staked. Remember, we've got 120 million is in total supply. So there we are, the average balance, 34 ETH there. So you might find people will split up their Pulse, for example. Maybe they've got hundreds of millions of Pulse and they want to validate on many accounts. They could split their 32 million Pulse up into different amounts, and you might see a lot of that as well. So that will add to the validators if they do that separately. So it's going to be some interesting combinations thereof we're going to see. So it's pretty cool. This is also showing the Ethereum Explorer that we want to use. That's why they're doing Aragon as well. We've got the block times here as well. So you can see how we've got 10-second block times. You saw that earlier in Explorer. Ethereum's got 12-second block times here. So we've got the epochs. Epochs have slots in them. And then, of course, blocks can be in those slots, but not always the case there. And, of course, you normally get 128 validators. One of them is going to confirm the block. The rest of them are going to attestation or test the block, confirm it. and then it's going to process to finality there. So you can see, well, let me jump back here. You can see this one's a final, yes. This one's not final, no. These are proposed blocks, and you'll see probably heaps of those before you get that to final. So there's some interesting stuff there on Ethereum. So we're going to have this on Pulsechain. It's going to be fun. And of course, here is a snapshot. Here's a little sneak peek of what it is on Pulsechain testnet. So Pulsechain testnet v3, this is the same thing. Same thing as this is Ethereum Live, as the block explorer that they want. And of course, that's why they're doing Aragon. And here is it on the Pulsechain that we got a sneak peek on the 19th of January. Richard showed us this v3 testnet is coming along fine. There are 4 Pulsechain clients: Go, Prism, Aragon, and Lighthouse. Remember, 2 of the executions, the Aragon and Go, they'll get, and then the Prism and the Lighthouse are the consensus ones there. So here's a screenshot of the Pulsechain private testnet Beacon Explorer. So the Beacon Explorer is what they're wanting there, and you can see this is the equivalent. We've got the chart here. We're going to have Pulse on this side though, not ETH. And of course, the number of validators here as well. You can see here that when they're operating here, remember that 256 that we talked about? They've got 256 active validators here running on the private testnet, and need about 126, so divide by 2 to do one doing the confirming the block, and the other one's doing the attestation there. They've got the epoch times and the current slots in there as well. And we can see that we've got 10-second block times. Yay! We've got 10-second block times here, as opposed to Ethereum here with the 12-second block times on the Explorer there. Isn't that cool? So we had that there as well. They had, yes, finaled some blocks there as well, so looking cool. So that is we explored all the updates. That is all the updates, folks. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. That is a summary of that. And of course, we've gone through the latest of the ETH withdrawals as well. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out was that these consensus clients and stuff, they go through updates themselves. Their versions get updated. So here we've got the Vision Ethereum client. These are the developers for the Consensus Prism software. And you can see that they've just updated recently on the 14th, I believe this was. They updated to version 3.21 on the Prism one. So even the clients get updated. And of course, we can see the latest clients here on the execution clients. So we've got the actual name of the clients here, Geth. We've got Aragon here, and we can see their network share down here, 63 and 10% respectively. And we can see the latest version of that software, Sarah Drill there, V1.11.1 2 days ago. We can also see that Aragon had their latest update 12 days ago, V238.1. So those are the latest versions of these softwares. This is on beaconchar.in. And then we've got the consensus ones here. We talked about Prism, the latest Prism one, version 3.2.1. And of course, we can see that from the development team. They released that just the other day on the 14th, I believe. So that is kind of cool. Now, why have they done this? This is our first official release for supporting the upcoming Capella Shanghai network upgrade, which we know is coming in March. So even the consensus clients are being upgraded to adapt for this as well. It's mandatory on the Sepola testnet. Remember, that's coming up on the 28th of February and recommended for mainnet, so change log and release binary. So that is kind of cool. That is the update, and it's had 16,000 views. That was the 14th of February that got updated. So even the consensus clients themselves upgrading their versions for the Shanghai upgrade to do ETH withdrawals. So pretty fun there. And of course, the Pulsechain team will be upgrading their versions. So that's kind of the play. So that is kind of interesting. Hope you guys found that a cool overview. In the meantime, of course, Hex price rocketed the DMV. Look at that. Bam, bam. We broke the 5.6 mark. And of course, we got all the way up here to over 6 cents. 6.041 is what I have it here on the Hex USD pair, the biggest pair. That's kind of cool. I think I'm in the right pair here. Yep. And then of course we had some profit taking here. I saw these big large wallets selling into it. No surprise, but the market's so bullish it keeps coming up here. We got back up to just under 6 cents. Got down to 5.8, and now we're back up to almost 5.9. And of course, the markets are liking this as well. So pretty exciting. On the daily, let's have a look at the daily here as well. The daily here, we're not even in overbought territory. So we could very well get up to my first target, remember, which is somewhere between 6.4, 6.5. That's definitely doable. Not inevitable, but definitely doable with the narrative and the news coming out, especially with all that good stuff coming from Richard, that the testing going well. They've got all the clients up and running. That 25% burn fee there as well. So that's kind of cool. And let me go back to that up here. And let's check that out. So yeah, the 25% burn on top. So it's going to be fun to see that. So that was super bullish. The markets loved it, and looking forward to it. I think we've still got plenty of room to move up into that consolidated over 6 cent mark. Definitely looks good to me. Now, in terms of the update, let's have a look at Richard's views so far. So on this post, that has only been 5 hours and 123,000 views. So in 5 hours, 123,000 views on the first update there. It's going to be interesting to see what that looks like after 24 hours. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let us go here. The volume I want to talk about. We've had 2.9 million buy volume and 2.2 million sell volume there. So over the last 6 hours, that's what's happened to the chart. 5 hours ago, Richard gave us the update. 6 hours, 2.2 million, 56% buy volume. The 228 trades versus 146 sells, and we're up 7% on 24 hours. Liquidity sitting at $9 million US dollars in the top pair, looking pretty good. I haven't pulled up liquidity, but that is kind of where we are there. Let us see. We got any updates here? I think I forgot to put that on. What else? We've got any more people here? We've got 59 people watching, so big welcome to you all. Share the stream around if you found it really informative and helpful. Share the stream around to people that you know that are in Pulsechain Hex, and they can get an overview of the exploration there of some of those updates. Let me just catch up on some of these comments in the chat. Let's go. Let me jump back there. Got up to that comment. Sandy Beach says, awesome stream. Thank you very much, Sandy. Appreciate that. Hopefully it was worth staying up there for Sandy. I know it's probably getting late there in the old USA. What else there? Let's jump over that. We've got Hex machine here. Will there be a forced parity between PHEX and EHEX? We may see it straight away, Hex machine. We may see it a bit later in the piece. It depends on whether they want to see people get wrecked or not. But I imagine that we may see, there's a good chance we'll see it early. And we may see, no expectations, of course, we may see the Sacrifice Origin accounts set up some pretty fat liquidity. So look out for that. Hex is going to be the number one, I think. I think that's in terms of protecting the brand and the value. So that's kind of where I feel that's going to be the case there. Hey, looks like KD's gifted 5 Hex Token channel memberships. So grab those while you can. Big shout out to KD for that. We got Aaron in the house, Tim Top, Wango, Big Bully, and Hedgehog as well. Oh, Hedgehog. What the heck? Hedgehog, you little rat bag. Hey, good to see you. Thanks so much, KD. That's very cool. Everyone. Toxic, man. I can't believe Toxic took that up. That's just, it's ball form Toxic. He is one of our, he's our friendly troll, but he's been pretty good, but well behaved actually. But that's hilarious that he took that up. There could be some drama about that, some political fallout. We're no drama channel though, so can't dramatize that. All right, that's pretty funny. What are we up to? We got Matt says, lol, he should have been. I don't know what you guys have in private chats. I got to jump past all those. Sandy says, I am a doctor. I did not know that, Sandy. Really? I think you're laughing about that, so maybe you're not a doctor. We've got, there's the question, will RH launch before or after the Shanghai? Well, based on the optionality, it looks like he'll probably be, the testnet will be out first. I think there's going to be a bit of a decent time for the testnet, because that's prudent development, right, is to have a testnet period. So I don't see that I see that happening later on. The mainnet could be much later, so mainnet could be later, and they just fork it with the mainnet. That's probably what will happen there. Is what I think will happen there, Bob. He already said he's not worried about the Shanghai, can add it in it later apparently. For the testnet, possibly later, but for the mainnet, I don't think it's going to be for testnet for sure. You can operate without that for testnet, there's no problem. Thanks for the update, says HH. Interfire says awesome stream, Superman, much appreciated. You're welcome, Interfire. Hopefully I didn't go too fast either. Good old Kiwi accents, we tend to run quick. What was that? The Ferraris? Is that Ferraris there at Sandy Beach? Nice. And Mr. Rock Jockey's in the house there. Thumbs up. Nice one there. Appreciate that. Tintot says, when V4B, sir? I need more updates. Thank you. Hey, look, V4 is always possible. That'd be a V2 proof of stake. It's always possible. But if it does happen, I would suggest to you that it would be very short indeed. Maybe 2 weeks or something. We'll see. It's not given there. Hey, look, if the V3 or V1 proof of stake goes smoothly, they may do it. They may do it if it's really smooth. If it's really smooth, they may do it. But we'll see. Gentleman was gifted a membership. Well done to her. All of everyone got a membership there. Very nice. Let me jump through some of this. Akem says, I love this platform. Me too, Akem. Me too. Sandy Beach says, I'm a doctor of pharmacy. Okay, cool. Well done. Congratulations, Sandy. That's very useful for society. Swiper, stop swiping. Says Sintop. Yeah. Toxic is channels trolls. Apparently, Toxic is on many channels. And of course, this channel is not immune. We don't have an anti-toxic machine. He had it coming anyway, says Tintop, apparently. Brian's in house. This up, folks. Is it already tomorrow? Hey, Brian, you know who Toxic is, so you need to deal with Toxic Hedgehog taking up that free channel membership. Sandy says, yes, I hope so, lol. It is good. That's great. I mean, it is. Being a pharmacy is very important. It's very important indeed. I know it's our local farm. I won't get into that. I was going to make a comment. All right, let's bounce out of there. We've got Hex at the moment at 5.9 cents. It has been awesome. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the presentation. Let me know in the chat if you want me to post this in the Discord. And you can check it out if you like with some of the terminologies and explanations there. Pretty cool. Richard Hart's Pulsechain updates explored. And of course, we're going to have a lot of fun when it does go live. It's going to be fun for that for sure. Lots of things happening in the space. Very, very neat. Going through that in speed time now. All right, very cool. Okay, we've got 5.9 cents. What time is it now? How we doing? 56 minutes on the live. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. Brian says, I don't even have that browser open. How did he get out of his cage? Apparently he got out, Brian. He got out. We're talking about hedgehog there. So excited. This is just the tip of the iceberg, says Dave. Is 100%. We're getting definitely closer, folks. And the news today was very the best so far. Been really, really good. I don't think he had the choice. It gave it to me too. I didn't claim or anything. Oh, is that right, Tintop? Maybe that's what happened. Please, sir, may I have a membership, says Brennan. And Brian says, I missed it all. Just got here. Please post in Discord. Yeah, I think maybe it just got by automation there, as someone just said. So maybe that is the case there. Sandy Beach says, thank you, Hex Token. Hey, you're welcome. That is a nice looking chart for this year. It definitely is looking good as well. We've got 3 minutes to go. We're going to keep going for a couple more minutes with the chart here. And of course, if you haven't checked out Richard Hart's original updates, I'm going to post a copy to Richard Hart's update there. Now we've got 5 more token memberships from Brian, so grab those. OMG. We've got Brennan's got one. Van Sam's got one. Sandy Beach says, good night, everybody. Good night, Sandy. And sleep well. It was great to have you in the chat today. Expedition says, was gifted a membership as well. Dark Matter got one. Oh, hey, Dark Matter, great to see you in the chat. Stevie D as well. Awesome. Some really well-known people got those. So nice. Great to see that. Congratulations. 10 new Hex Token channel members as well. Now, if you want to become a channel member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsekins, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club. Just a nice, easy way of supporting the channel as we talk about Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex every day. It's our favorite topic apparently. So update is on Twitter. So I'm just posting that. Apparently on this channel we really like Pulsechain and Hex and Pulsex. Apparently we do. I don't know where the evidence is, but apparently that's the case. So that is the link to Richard Hart's update. Go and if you haven't seen it, give it a heart. Share it around as well, because more the merrier, right? More the merrier. HH says memberships for me too, please. Says HH, lol. And Sandy Beach says congrats to all the new members. Absolutely congratulations. And a big shout out to Brian and KD for sponsoring those. That's really nice of you too. Both of them. Brian's a community leader in our Discord, and KD is a very honored moderator there as well. Does great work, not just for Hex Token channel, but also for Texas Token community as well. So big shout out to KD for that. It was really nice. Brendan says, Brian, thanks, kind sir. Indeed, thanks. Right, we're coming up to 59 minutes on the hour, so 1 more minute to go. Let's close down some of these sites here. That is the updates there, so still looks like we're on track for the Shanghai upgrade. Pulsechain looks like it's on track. Things are going pretty well all around. People are going to be able to withdraw their Pulse. It's going to be fun. We're at 5.9 cents as well. I think it's a good chance, a good chance that we'll go over 6 cents, and that's kind of where I'm heading there at the moment with that. So 6.3 to 6.5, that's the target. Let's see how we get on. HH says thank you, Brian. Yeah, big shout out to Brian there. What else there? How else would Toxic get one from his cage on lockdown, says Brian. That's pretty funny. All right, we're almost up to an hour, folks. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show, and hopefully it's been illuminating to some of you as well, some of the terminology there as well, exploring the updates, because they're only going to get better from here, folks. We're probably getting pretty close to getting testnet. I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm probably getting very close indeed. So what date is today? The 9th of February. Hey, maybe before the end of February, we could have that testnet up. That sounds like a good idea. Everybody in favor, say aye. Aye. Everyone say no. Say no. I don't hear anyone. It's crickets. I hear crickets. I don't hear everybody saying no about that. A Cape Figure in house there. Hey, Superman and all. Evening, Briz. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. We are Cape Figure. I know that you've got your cruise coming up. Hey, I have a special, very special interview coming up soon. Cape Figure, you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be, you're going to love it. It's on topic for you. Stay tuned. Brennan says, go, 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 go. No, we're going to wrap up now. I've got to have some dinner. The price is at 5.9. Hope you guys enjoyed 2 live streams today and a short video. I think we've done pretty well, but the news today was undeniably great, and the market is pricing it in, and so it should. Onwards and upwards to 6.3 to 6.5. Let's do it. Let's do it, folks. It's going to be fun. All right, take care. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And I will see you all tomorrow. Okay, thanks very much. That has been very, very cool. All right, take care. Bye for now. Peace out. We're going to say peace out. Pulsechain, the year of 2023 is the year of Pulsechain. That's how we rock and roll on this channel. I look forward to it. It's going to be the best, biggest thing in crypto, unbelievably so. So stay tuned. You're all in the right place.